What's your favorite movie of all time? I asked fighters that question in the latest edition of MMA Pros Pick.
I tell you what I really enjoyed. I was on the plane last year flying to Jacksonville, and I watched, no, I was going to Brazil, Ford versus Ferrari. Have you seen it? It was an awesome film. But best movies of all time, I mean, the Goodfellas is going to be in there. Back to the Future, certainly one of them. That's a childhood favorite, you know. So yeah, I'll give you those.
Ooh. I had one most favorite movie. That was the movie why I started to do MMA. Never Back Down. That's the movie. But when I was started the MMA, and that was my dream to be like this guy.
Talladega Nights.
Vision Quest. Without a doubt. Yeah, filmed in Spokane. You know, my school, the high school I graduated from, was in the movie.
Favorite movie of all time. Gladiator. I really like Gladiator. Anytime that's on, I'm not changing the channel. Anytime that's on, no matter what part of the movie is in, I'll sit there and watch the rest of it.
One movie that I really liked that I don't think a lot of people thought was that great was The Accountant. The way that movie played out, I really liked that movie. And like the soundtrack, it's like one of my favorite soundtracks from the movie. So I'll just say that for lack of. I'll text you later and give you my top 10. But yeah, who knows?
I always grew up loving John Wayne movies and stuff. I could probably pick any one of those. I'm pretty traditional with that. I've watched so many good movies out there, it's hard to pick anymore. As far as watching with my family and stuff, the animated The Croods movie is like probably one of my favorites of all time.
I would have to be The Matrix, man. I mean, The Matrix to me is probably one of the best movies, if not the best I've ever seen. Just the way it captivates me to make me think a little bit outside the box of how the world could probably generally work. Not to say there's a superstition that we're all, being controlled. We probably are, who freaking knows. But the idea of how, the world we live in is not as real as we think it is. And if I can relate it to the real world, we see certain things of how people just get lost in that are just not beneficial or real, whether it's social media, whether it's knowing everything about the freaking Kardashians. Like, what the fuck, man? We forget about ourselves. And I feel like that's the closest emulate to what's really happening. It might not be word for word, but if you watch The Matrix and you see what's going on, especially now, you're like, holy shit, what kind of world are we living in? You know what I'm saying? And it's so rare to be yourself. A lot of people have a problem with being themselves. And I'm talking to real self, and I love the fact that I'm becoming more of myself. I'm falling in love with myself. I'm having a great relationship with myself. They were asking me, hey man, are you single? I'm like, no man, I'm happily dating myself. I'm getting to know myself more, and I'm starting to invest in me. And I encourage a lot of people to do that, because when you learn to invest in you, it's like a tree, it plants and it blooms. But we're so focused on all these other things, whether it's negative affirmations, YouTube, it's bullshit that makes no fucking sense. And then when you get older, you're like, fuck, I'm gonna die. And none of this shit really matters. Like, there's a point in your life where you're gonna be the next person to die. Let that sink in. So it's like, what do you do with this thing called time that you have? Do you waste it? How do you invest it? How do you give it? It's the most precious thing, but we don't realize that, because dumb shit like, I don't know, watching these YouTubers doing some really stupid shit, and we as a country make them famous. It's like, what the fuck? This is life? This is it? So I'm happily detached from all of that, just like The Matrix. I'm unplugged, so I get it.
I love the Matrix trilogy. Like, that was my jam for a long time. And then Lord of the Rings came out, and then that was my jam. And then all the Marvel movies came out. So I would have to say right now at this point, it would have to be Endgame. Marvel Endgame was legit, man. Oh my God. I can watch that movie over and over again. I get so hyped. I'm ready to fuck after watching that.